Cubs Extra, presented by your Chicagoland Toyota dealers.
Cubs again fail to get the big hit, lose the series with the Giants falling 2-1 in tonight's rubber game of the set. Welcome to Cubs Extra, brought to you by Toyota. Luke Canellis with you. Joining me here on set, Matt Spiegel from the afternoon show at Lawrence Holmes on 670 The Score. Giants, second worst team in the National League. It's not supposed to be this tough.
This offense is really hard to watch right now. A lot of good hitters having brutal at-bats in big moments. I know what a hard thing it is to be good at, but they are struggling with runners in scoring position like few times I've ever seen this Cubs team. All
right, I want to immediately go out to Wrigley Field. Anthony Rizzo, part of the broadcast crew that just brought you the 2-1 loss. Nice enough to join us here on Cubs Extra. Anthony, thanks so much for taking the time. And you've been with the Cubs now the last couple of weeks. Last Sunday at St. Louis, tonight against the Giants. Where do you see the problems with this Cubs team right now? You were a leader for 10 years with this organization. What would you say in the clubhouse to get those bats going?
Well, it's just part of the grind of the season, honestly. It's all about putting it in perspective. It's a long season. I know the sample size of late has not been great. They're not hitting with runners in scoring position, but you see the at-bats tonight. You see Bregman swinging there on that first pitch. I feel like a little uncharacteristic out of him. Maybe he's just trying to get the job done, but it's part of the season. And if you're on the inside of that clubhouse, you have to understand that it's a long season. It takes really one or two moments to turn everything around. So you just got to stay the course and weather the storm.
Anthony, where is your two-strike approach with these guys? I miss your B-hack. You know, like, is it just not something that happens much in the game these days? There aren't many who did it as well as you, and there doesn't seem to be that many who have it right now on this team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think striking out is the problem with this team. They grind at bats out. They make the pitchers work. It's just, like Say It today, he hits a ball pretty good. It just goes right at Adames there at shortstop. And Say is one of the guys that's struggling right now with runners in scoring position. And if that ball sneaks by or gets by, it's hit a foot either way. It's a base hit, could be the game-winning base hit. So it's things like that just need to start going their way a little bit. The process is there. The guys are grinding. The guys are working. It's just when the results come, that's when everything turns.
Anthony, I know we are at the beginning of June, so there's still plenty of baseball to be played, but this team just continues to trail the Brewers, who just keep winning, and the margin now is 7.5 games between these two teams. Is it tough not to press if you're a guy standing in the batter's box trying to make something happen offensively?
Yeah, I mean, from the standing standpoint, things can change so fast, right? 4 or 5 weeks ago, the Cubs were World Series contenders. Everyone here was celebrating another championship, and then it happened so fast. They go on a 10-game losing streak. So, as a player, you just got to ride the wave. You got to weather the storm. It's a very long season. The narrative can change literally. They have an off day. They get to regroup tomorrow in Colorado, and then they get to playing at that high altitude there at Coors Field. So, hopefully the bats come alive there. They get some momentum, and that's really all it takes is 1 or 2 games. Personally, to get rolling.
There's this podcast called The Lovable Reunion. I don't know if you've heard of it, but we're celebrating a team from 10 years ago that was full of guys who would get in each other's faces when necessary, whether it's Ross or Lester or Lackey. Does this team have somebody, a veteran or people on the coaching staff, that will aggressively get in the face of players? And do you need somebody like that in the room?
Yeah, I mean, I think comparing teams is always really tricky. I know it makes for good TV, but every team has their leaders. Every team has their style. The managers have their style of play. The coaches. I mean, I've been down there the last few days hanging around the guys more, and they all seem very loose. They seem very engaged, talking to one another, all the things you want to see, I guess, from the outside looking in. But again, each team has its own version of leadership, and the guys here, their position player group, this team's built on the position player group. They're experienced. They all have proven track records. So you just have to believe in them and believe that they'll come out of it. They've been in this league, most of these guys, for 6, 7, 8+ years for a reason. So at the end of the season, hopefully we're looking up, and those guys' numbers are where they usually are on the back of their baseball card.
Yeah, let's hope so. We appreciate the time. Before I cut you loose, it's been so great to see you around the ballpark the last week and a half. You're doing so much in the community right now. You're running the Bank of America Chicago Marathon for charity. And on Friday, I know that the Rizzo Foundation hosted hundreds of pediatric cancer patients and their families at Santa's Village. Tell us, how was the event, and how was it to get to spend some time with so many of those kids?
The event was amazing at Santa's Village. All the kids get to come out, kind of escape reality for the day. I had so much fun. I was there with my family, got to bring my son there and enjoy times with families in a very intimate setting. And just being back in Chicago the last week, being around the team has been amazing. Being part of the Cubs again has been amazing. So hopefully hopefully the team turns it around. I believe they will. They're built to, I believe, for an October run, and I'll be here a lot more this summer, enjoying Wrigley Field, enjoying Chicago at its finest.
Yeah, we love to have you back in town. It's great to see you. Thanks so much for hanging out with us here on Cubs Extra. Thanks, Anthony.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Anthony Rizzo joining us here on set.
He didn't want to really speak to it in terms of comparing the teams, but isn't it impossible not to in the midst of this moment 10 years later when you think about the personalities? He's right. The position player group is the core of this thing, and right now those guys aren't getting it done. So something, I think, has to change, whether it's a player, whether it's a manager, whether it's a coach. It feels like a moment for action, to be honest.
And there's still plenty of baseball to be played. Before we close out this first segment, Speaks, and we've got lots more to get to here on the show, I wanted to take a moment to talk about former Bulls player, Bulls broadcaster Stacey King, who died earlier today. Stacey, drafted by the Bulls back in 1989, a member of the first three-peat, a Bulls fan. He loved being a Bull, a big man at 6'11", but an even bigger personality.
The broadcasters we love are the ones who love the sports as much as we do. And he did probably even more than we did. And it was infectious, whether the team was good or bad. His passion for basketball came through constantly. I watched lots of bad Bulls games because Stacey King was doing them. And it's really heartbreaking today to get this news and to think about having lost him. I feel like it's unfair. We deserved another decade of basketball games with Stacey King.
Yeah, no cause has been given for King's death. Stacey King was only 59 years old. We'll have more right after a break.
Cubs Extra, presented by your Chicagoland Toyota dealers.
Yeah, Cubs with a 3-2 10th inning walk-off winner on Saturday. They lose on Sunday 2-1 in 10 to the Giants. Welcome back, along with Matt Spiegel from The Score. Lou Canellis with you here on Cubs Extra. Thanks to the good folks at Toyota. We talked about Alex Bregman not coming through. You heard Anthony Rizzo just a second ago. A little bit surprised that he swung on that first pitch. But Bregman wasn't the only guy that failed with men in scoring position. Go back to the fourth inning. Cubs had bases loaded. Carson Kelly goes down swinging. In the ninth inning, one out, first and second. Kelly with the soft pop-up to the pitcher. So there's enough blame to go around.
Yeah, there absolutely is. In fact, on that Bregman play in the eighth inning when he swung at the first pitch, he was trying to do the right thing and just poke it to the right side and get that runner home, poke it through the big hole there. And he hit it a little bit to the right. It's hard to aim it in baseball. A double play. Kevin Alcantara with a brutal base running mistake to be caught that far off third base with nobody out. You can't do that. And he's a guy who's really only here to be a late inning base runner. Craig Counsell hasn't used him in any other way. I don't know how much longer Kevin Alcantara will be here because there's lots of mistakes there. But to your point, Lou, all kinds of errors. Even there in the 10th inning offensively, it's Michael Conforto and Michael Bush with PCA on second. Then Pete Steele's third, and he's there on third with less than 2 outs, and Bush pops it up. These situations don't feel like they should be this difficult to score. That's against like the 4th or 5th best bullpen guy on the Giants, who are a brutal team right now. This is a tough moment for Cubs fans and tough moments for the Cubs to lose 2 out of 3 to this team.
Tough moment for their manager, Craig Counsell, who just spoke to the media moments ago.
It's a left hamstring strain. Imaging tomorrow. It's an IL. So we'll get more information tomorrow on severity and maybe an idea of a timeline.
The other day, like Assad was shortened up. Is the possibility
No.
Obviously, we can ask Kevin. What do you think's behind a mistake like that, which is kind of amped up?
Yeah, I mean it's just over aggressiveness. Yeah.
What did you make of Assad's outings? I mean, 6 1/3, he goes out to a standing ovation.
Yeah, I mean it's a shame because you lose your starter in the first and you're kind of going, oh no, and then you get an outing like that. That's got to be a great outing. And he deserves to be the hero tonight, pitching like that. And we just couldn't make enough happen offensively.
So with guys really grinding to get hits, is it fair to throw a lot on the 1-0 contract player or not?
Well, we get 27 outs, right? And so we got to, that makes it first and third with 1 out. We still got to score. We had other opportunities to score, so it's a factor, obviously. It's a play you want back. It's a play we made a mistake on, but we also had other pretty good scoring chances.
Yeah, they did. They had a few scoring chances. I want to go back to Jamison Taillon, who left this game with a left hamstring strain. You heard manager Craig Counsell there say that he's going to go to the injured list. Another starting pitcher on the injured list. Matthew Boyd, Justin Steele, Cade Horton, Edward Cabrera missed some time with the blister, came back. We saw what happened when he came back on Friday. How many more injuries can this starting staff sustain?
Yeah, I don't know. They're pretty maxed out in terms of the depth that is available within the organization. Assad showed you that he's worthy of getting another chance. So in the short term, I think you're fine, but you're looking at a starting staff where Shota Imanaga started great, and it's been very rough for 4 starts since then. You basically are going to have Colin Ray and Javier Assad in your rotation every 5th day, and those are expected to be your 6th and 7th guys, or your 7th and 8th guys once Justin Steele came back. The Cade Horton and Justin Steele setback, the Horton injury and the Steele setback, are absolutely brutal for the ceiling of possibility on this team. But over the course of 162 games, this lineup and this ball club is still plenty good to be better than where they are. They fell out of the playoffs right now.
We've seen the Brewers go through pitching injuries themselves, and it just seems that they have just more and more arms to bring up from the minor leagues who come through and do the job. Thankfully, Ben Brown has pitched as well as he has so far.
Yeah, Ben Brown's the best pitcher on this team. And you didn't know what you were going to get from him when this season began, but he's absolutely the best starting pitcher on this team. There's a lot of bigger issues that are getting talked about with a little more ferocity these days when it comes to the Cubs, aren't there, Lou? Like conversations that we're having with brethren in the media or baseball people are like, what is the plan? And now that the plan is not working, what are you going to do about it? So I know it's only June and there's a lot of baseball left, but I mean, look around. There are teams that have made some changes, and those players have responded around baseball.
And that team you're talking about, the Philadelphia Phillies, who turned things around with a new manager. We're going to continue our discussion. I want to ask you about Dansby Swanson sitting for 2 straight games as well. Lots more to go here on Cubs Extra on NBC5.
Cubs Extra, presented by your Chicagoland Toyota dealers. Cubs Extra, presented by your Chicagoland Toyota dealers.
Matt Chapman's RBI still in the 10th inning gives the Giants a 2-1 winner over the Cubs. Welcome back to Cubs Extra. Lou Canellis along with Matt Spiegel. A month ago today, Cubs were 26-12, 3.5 game lead in the National League Central. Today, they're 34-32, 7.5 back, third in the division, an 11-game turnaround. There has to be some sense of urgency in that Cubs clubhouse right now.
There has to be. We don't see it publicly. We don't get it publicly. I think it's an issue for the fan base to hear the relentlessly calm tones of Jed Hoyer and Carter Hawkins and Craig Counsell and some of the players. But this is how they are. This is who they are, and that's fine. I couldn't help but reference it when talking to Rizzo. It's like there has to be somebody who's a butt kicker in the room. I don't know who it is. I don't know who it is. And I know that you want a reward process, and in baseball you want to stay nice and level in a game with this much failure in this long a season, but I'm surprised that there hasn't been a change of voice with a coach or something like that by this point in the year with the way this is going.
I heard you on the radio this morning, Hit and Run, terrific show, Sunday mornings with my co-host here, Matt Spiegel, on The Score, and you asked your audience about going out and maybe making a deal for a guy who's going to energize this clubhouse, energize the dugout. Is it still too early to make a deal? Because the trade deadline's not till August 3rd. And you heard Anthony Rizzo say there's still lots of baseball to be played.
And there is. And there is. That's why I keep thinking about a change in one of the voices in the room in terms of the coaching staff. Maybe it is too early. But I threw it out to the listeners, as you heard, like, what are the possibilities? Because they've done a really nice job of rewarding the core and locking up the core, similar to how the Atlanta Braves did. I mean, you've got all these guys locked up. So what spots are there even to do it necessarily? That's what has led to kind of an odd feeling of complacency, which I don't think is entirely true, obviously, but that feeling of just got to wait for these guys to get going, just got to wait for these guys to get going, and it's hard to wait when it keeps happening.
I thought it was interesting, you talked about the conversation that Bruce Levine, part of The Score, who's been covering the baseball scene forever in this town.
Legend.
Bruce Levine raised the question of Nico Horner.
Yeah.
And they talked about maybe today's athlete, today's ball player, just doesn't provide that energy we're looking for like they did in 2016 with Anthony Rizzo's squad.
Do you really believe that, though?
No, I don't.
10 years later, that the game is that different, that athletes are that different, that it doesn't motivate you? I mean, what motivates you in your household? You know, when one parent is a good cop and one parent is a bad cop, then the kid seems to progress just fine. Like, I don't know who the bad cop is. And maybe there is one, or there's two, or there's three that we just don't know about. But they should go ahead and tell us.
All right. Yes, they should. That's for sure. Speaking of telling us something, I want to go back to Wrigley Field. Jamison Taillon, again, left this game early with a left hamstring strain. You just heard manager Craig Counsell tell us that he is going to go to the injured list, and Taillon just spoke with the media.
After the 2-2 pitch there in that at-bat to Chapman, and then kind of in between pitches, I was trying to weigh whether it was worth throwing another pitch or not, and then threw the 3-2 pitch and felt it a little more. So, yeah, just nothing I've ever felt. Unfortunately, just kind of one pitch did it.
You know your body better than almost anybody, having been through a lot. Do you think this is something really serious?
I mean, you have to take any injury somewhat serious, you know, but, you know, I don't think it's crazy, like I'm walking around and moving around. Obviously, it'll be an IL stint, but, you know, hopefully we can keep the arm conditioned and moving around and limit it from being too long. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's, you know, surgical or anything like that, but I'm getting an MRI tomorrow and we'll know more.
So another starting pitcher goes down, and there's been plenty of talk the last couple of weeks about Tarik Skubal and a potential deal for the Tigers, two-time Cy Young winner. We're going to talk about that after this timeout here on Cubs Extra on NBC 5.
Cubs Extra, presented by your Chicagoland Toyota dealers. Cubs Extra, presented by your Chicagoland Toyota dealers.
Spigs, 22 straight games against teams under 500. The homestand opened up against two bad teams, the A's and Giants, and the Cubs go 2-4 on the homestand.
Well, this just proves they can leave runners on base against anybody. Absolutely anybody. They've got to get it turned around, and this is an advantageous part of the schedule to do so.
All right, Tarik Skubal had a rehab start today.
Yeah.
All right, threw 5 scoreless innings. You talk to the baseball writers, and they feel that the Cubs are the best team to make a deal with the Tigers. Do you feel the same?
Hey, boy, it's going to take a lot, and I'm not sure that the Cubs have as much as they need to get it done in terms of prospect value. I mean, you're talking about some young players who are on the big league club already, like Matt Shaw or Moises Ballesteros, and beyond that, I think I would suspect the Tigers want more. How about Freddie Peralta from the Mets? In a contract year, they should make that deal as soon as they possibly can for Craig Counsell's former starting pitcher.
Before I let you get away, Cubs have tomorrow off, and then they're in Colorado against a bad Rockies team. We have not seen Dansby Swanson in the opening starting lineup the last two nights. Do you think he starts on Tuesday?
I don't. I think this has a little bit more of a sense of permanence. I also wonder if Matt Shaw, the aforementioned Matt Shaw, is going to come up. He's had, before today, 12 at-bats, I think, in the minors on a rehab start. So, yeah, I think they've got to find some offense, and I don't know if you're going to get it from Dansby right now.
All right, Cubs lose 2-1 in 10. Thanks for watching. For my partner, Matt Spiegel, I'm Lou Canellis. Coming up, Allison Rosati, Stephen Holt. The L flag flies at Wrigley. We don't like to see that. We do like to see the news. Coming up right after this.
Right now on the NBC5 News, Chicago sports fans mourn the loss of Stacey King, who helped the Bulls win 3 consecutive NBA championships before launching a successful broadcast career.
The first weekend of CPS summer break, and already multiple children and teens are shot in Chicago. We're going to show you how some families came together to call for an end to the violence and to call for more safe places for their children to go.
And thousands hit the streets for the Bank of America Chicago Half Marathon, the runners who set records at today's race.
Live from Studio A at NBC Tower and Chicago's next generation newsroom, built to serve you anywhere, anytime. This is NBC5 News.
Stop it! Do not do him like that! What are you doing, Dragons? Did you not get the memo? I want to go higher!
Joe King, Rose for 3.
Kaboom! Big time players make big time plays!
Heinrich flips it in. Butler firing.
Oh my goodness! Jimmy G! Buckets! Gets buckets! Give me the hot sauce! Let's go home, Chicago. Drive home safely. Beep beep.
Oh, it's bittersweet to hear those calls once again. A familiar voice for so many Bulls fans is suddenly gone. Stacey King has died at 59. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Stephen Holt.
I'm Allison Rosati. Stacey King was part of the first Bulls three-peat with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, so beautiful and memorable. Before becoming a broadcaster, tonight, a lot of fans remembering him fondly, what he meant to this team and to the city. NBC5's Luke Canellis joining us with more reaction tonight to his passing.
I'll tell you what, Allison, Stacey King was a giant of a man, 6'11", Bulls player, broadcaster, fan, and his death is a massive loss for family, friends, and fans of the Bulls. Bulls CEO Michael Reinsdorf said it best. Quote, Stacey loved being a Bull, is what Reinsdorf said. Stacey was the Bulls' first-round pick back in 1989 out of Oklahoma. He was part of the Bulls' first three-peat before playing in Minnesota, Miami, Boston, and Dallas. Stacey briefly coached the Rockford Lightning of the CBA before moving into the broadcast booth in 2006. His energy and passion for the Bulls, the city of Chicago, the fans made Stacey a beloved sports figure. His loss leaving everyone feeling like they've lost a teammate and a friend.
He was a funny guy, and even back then as a player, he'd make you laugh by just some of the crazy things he would say. And, you know, you always knew that when Stacey was around, you would have a good time.
Stacey and I really didn't become friends until, you know, when we started broadcasting. I fell in love with his personality. I fell in love with how easy he was to work with. Bulls games, and they're not going to be the same. They're not going to be the same without Stacey.
No, they're not. I got to know Stacey during my time with the Bulls when he was playing during that first three-peat. And then a number of months ago, he had this podcast along with Mark Shanowski called, I think it's Give Me the Hot Sauce. And I'll tell you what, we were reliving the championship days. Stacey was fun, and he was real. Such a good guy, and gone way too soon.
This came as a total shock. I saw the news when it came out. I was just...
Couldn't believe it.
Exactly. My jaw dropped.
Yeah, we'll learn more over the next couple of days, but just a shock for everyone.
Yeah.
And such a loss.
Huge loss.
Thanks so much, Lou.
Thanks, Lou. Appreciate it.
We have breaking news now. A stabbing spree inside New York City's Penn Station that has left 6 people hurt, one of them seriously. This attack happened shortly after 7 o'clock this evening, prompting a large emergency response. Amtrak police took a suspect into custody. Officials are telling us that the person may have mental health issues. Investigators are still working to determine what sparked this attack, but say there are no indications of terrorism.
Also breaking, we just found out that Evanston Township High School will be closed tomorrow and on Tuesday. This is all because of a ransomware attack. Officials say access is disrupted to the district's systems, to the internet, and to computers for the schools. This is impacting summer school classes and camps going on right now. So the school says it will provide updates as needed.
And this was the first weekend of summer break for Chicago Public School students, and sadly, it was violent. 2 separate shootings, 7 kids injured. Some blaming parents, others looking for ways to get parents more involved. NBC5's JC Navarrete with more on efforts big and small tonight to curb teen takeovers.
All across Chicago, dozens came together with one goal in mind: teen safety.
I want to know why they attend takeovers, why, the who, what, when, where, why, and how of the takeover.
As more and more teenagers begin their summer break, many are looking for ways to keep them busy and entertained, to keep them off the streets and prevent teen takeovers.
I'm really just trying to get into where they are mentally. What are the things they need? What are the things they don't need?
This comes on the heels of a violent weekend for teens. 7 young people ranging in age from 12 to 19 were hospitalized in 2 separate shootings on the south side. The shootings taking place within hours of another in Bronzeville, Saturday night and into Sunday morning. In a letter to her constituents, Alderperson Pat Dowell criticizing parents for not doing more to keep their children safe, writing in part, quote, "We need to ask ourselves as the adults in the community, where are their parents? Where are the role models? Why are children out at night when, quite honestly, they should be home and in bed? How are we failing our youth? Parents must be accountable." Gregory taking the time on Sunday to shoot hoops for Tick Advocates' Teen Family Takeover. Mandrake Park hoping to inspire young people to pick a healthy alternative.
There's no guidance, there's no knowledge, so without the role models here like myself, kids don't know where to go.
And at the New Beginnings Gospel Church, faith leaders came together for a crime-free weekend. The group coming together to ask this question: can we work together to have one weekend without crime?
And we need to bless them, we need to talk to them, and take time, listen to them, listen to their problems.
The No Crime Weekend initiative launches on July 31st and runs through August 2nd. The hope is to get enough parents involved and organized to look after their children to have a crime-free weekend in Chicago. JC Navarrete, NBC5 News.
Thank you, JC.
Time for our first check of the weather with meteorologist Pete Zach in for Brent Miller. And will this hot, kind of sticky weather stick around?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
And then some.
You sound excited.
Just wait till we hit the middle of the week. Yeah, we're going to be looking at some hot conditions coming our way. Right now, a little muggy, but dry at least. Here's a look at live Doppler 5, and you can see the rain that approached and then just gave us a few sprinkles for most of the area, with the rain staying down to the south, at least for right now. But we have a pretty vigorous storm system that's drawing up a lot of Gulf moisture, so we might see a few showers through the overnight time frame. But Monday looks like it's going to get rather soggy at times. So we'll talk about the storms that are on the way. We'll talk about what we can expect as far as rainfall totals go as well, because it looks like we could get a pretty good soaking from Mother Nature. And then they get ready for some very hot temperatures once we hit the middle of the week. Details on the work week forecast coming up in about 8 minutes.
Get that AC ready to go. Pete Sack, thank you, sir. So we've been trying to get some answers to figure out exactly what happened after that SUV exploded on the Eisenhower Expressway Thursday morning, shutting it down for hours. Now we know who was killed. The medical examiner confirms 47-year-old Jorge Vaca of Cicero died in that blast. It triggered a huge response from police, the bomb squad, the FBI, even the DEA. So what exploded in that car? We still don't know. Investigators only say it was an isolated explosion and that they've found no evidence of any other suspects.
Other news in Edison Park today, a fundraiser was held for 2 Chicago police officers who were shot at Swedish Hospital back in April. Hundreds of people packed the patio at the Firewater Saloon to support the families of fallen police officer John Bartholomew and his partner, Officer Nelson Crespo. The officers were shot by a suspect that they'd taken to Swedish Hospital for treatment. They'd arrested him for an armed robbery earlier that day. Bartholomew was killed. Crespo was hospitalized in critical condition for some time. He was transferred to a rehab facility last month.
Right around 1,000 bikers rolled through the streets of Chicago this morning. They were doing this to honor police officers who have been killed or hurt in the line of duty. This is the annual Ride to Remember. It all kicked off at the United Center, and they rode all the way to the Gold Star Families Memorial right next to Soldier Field. And they wrapped it up with a short ceremony.
What an honor to be out here today to ride with everybody that came out to ride today. On behalf of the Chicago Police Department, all of our members, our men and women that are in the streets every single day, a huge thank you goes out to you guys.
The money they raised went on to help the families of those officers who were killed or seriously hurt in the line of duty. Let's change things up. You'll soon be able to grab a Chicago classic hot dog right off of Michigan Avenue soon. Portillo's is opening a new walk-up spot on Michigan Avenue, just south of Wacker. So whether you're a tourist or, yes, even a local, you can swing by, grab a Chicago-style dog, maybe an Italian beef, or, Allison, your favorite, maybe a cake shake, if you save room for dessert.
I like the chocolate cake.
Just the cake,
yeah,
not the shake.
I don't like to mix it with the shake, but thanks for, yeah.
No, purist.
Still sounds delicious.
I get it. I'm there with you. No opening date just yet, but Portillo says it's coming soon. That could be dangerous. It's not far away from us.
That's going to be a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, a lot of good food. And then you can run off those calories. Thousands of runners hit Garfield Park this morning for the 5th annual Bank of America Chicago Half Marathon.
Yes, runners faced some temperatures in the 60s, humid conditions, but that did not stop some record-breaking performances. Daniel Ibenyo of Kenya shattered the men's course record, finishing in 1 hour 39 seconds. On the women's side, 2-time Olympian Laura Galvin of Mexico crossed the finish line first for many runners, completing this 13.1-mile course through the steamy conditions. Felt like a win.
It's really humid and hot today, so it was a pretty tough race, but we got it done.
Right at the 10K, it was so loud I couldn't hear myself, surrounded by people shouting crazy. It was amazing.
Love it. Another course record fell today as defending men's wheelchair champ Daniel Romanchuk finished in 41 minutes, 54 seconds, and Tatiana McFadden, familiar name, claimed the women's wheelchair title. Congratulations to everyone. You can eat as much Portillo's as you want. You ran off all those calories this morning. Well
Carb
done.
loading, carb replenishing, Barry. Still ahead in the news, Iran fires a barrage of missiles at Israel. We've got new information on that escalation tonight in the Middle East.
Plus, a traffic nightmare where this trailer loaded with fireworks suddenly exploded in the middle of an interstate.
Pokemon Go fans took over Grant Park this weekend. We'll talk about why the game had to be suspended around the museum campus.
Sports Desk is sponsored by Xfinity. All your favorite teams, all in one place.
Developing in the Middle East, a complication in the mediation efforts to end the war in Iran. A fragile ceasefire held since April seems to be unraveling. Just in tonight, the Israeli military confirms that it struck military targets belonging to the Iranian terror regime in western and central Iran. Now, earlier today, Israel said Iran launched missiles at it, and that comes after Israeli warplanes struck Beirut's suburb in retaliation for alleged Hezbollah attacks. President Trump is at his golf club in New Jersey and was briefed on that strike today. On Fox, he said the Iranian missiles fired at Israel were certainly not going to help negotiations, but he later insisted over the phone with the Financial Times that today's strikes were not going to impact the deal. He also said Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu won't have any choice but to accept whatever deal is reached because Trump says he, quote, calls the shots.
Kind of a preview, the 4th of July, just way earlier than it's supposed to happen. This is in Tennessee. A trailer packed with fireworks caught fire And then started popping off right there in the middle of the interstate. Other drivers got quite a show on I-75 yesterday. Somehow no one was hurt.
A major disruption for thousands of Pokemon Go players in downtown Chicago this weekend. Organizers of Pokemon Go Fest suspended a portion of gameplay late yesterday and all day today due to crowding and overlapping events around the museum campus. The shutdown covered a large stretch east of South Michigan Avenue, including gameplay around the Field Museum. However, the augmented reality game was uninterrupted at Grant Park and other city locations. So, gotta catch them all.
You had that going on in Grant Park. You had Blues Fest going on. You had the soccer game at Soldier Field. It was
got the Cubs game tonight.
Cubs game.
And fortunately, we snuck it all in because there was rain around the area. Might have felt a few sprinkles here and there with the rain staying out of the picture, at least for now. But we're not going to get so lucky tomorrow. So get ready for a little bit of rain. Right now, let's talk about what the temperatures are doing. Readings in the mid-60s to still some low 70s. 71 in Valparaiso, 71 in Kankakee, 67 at O'Hare, 68 at Midway, 66 along the lakefront here. And temperatures will be holding pretty steady as we go through the overnight time frame. Let's take a look at what's going to be happening as far as stormcast. Now, we'll see the chance for a few widely scattered showers as we go through the overnight time frame. You can see a lot of rain down to the south, and more rain off to our west, where Iowa has just been really inundated with a lot of heavy rain lately. You can see temperatures will bottom out in the mid-60s. Most of your morning should be okay, maybe a few widely scattered showers, but once we get into the afternoon, now we'll start to see our opportunity for some widely scattered showers and storms into the afternoon commute. Got to be warm. Look for readings in the mid-80s, and when you see these 70-degree temperatures there, those are rain-cooled readings as the thunderstorms drift their way on through. Here's 9 o'clock, still dealing with the rain, and we'll have the rain through the overnight time frame as well, although it will become a little bit more widely scattered once we get into Tuesday morning. And then into Tuesday afternoon, we'll start to see some clearing, we'll start to see some sunshine, and maybe a stray shower, but more importantly, some warmer temperatures. Readings in the upper 80s, likely some low 90s coming our way. Let's take a look at what's going to be happening as we go into the rest of the work week, because once we hit the Wednesday time frame, after a chance for a little bit of rain early in the morning, we'll see some hot temperatures, sunshine, look at the high, low 90s, heat index values in the upper 90s. Then we'll see a chance for thunderstorms late on Wednesday and then again on Thursday. And once we reach this Thursday time frame, there is a risk of severe weather once it comes along, so we'll be keeping track of that. And then once we get into the Friday time frame, dry. Saturday, another chance of rain late, and then Sunday looks like we're drying out, and that's when we'll start to cool off as well. So taking a look at the next 10 days, you can see quite a bit of warm temperatures, 80s and 90s on the way, including that 92-degree high on Wednesday. And again, we'll be keeping an eye out for that severe risk come Sunday.
Now, Pete's weather photos.
All right, the dragonflies are out. Let them. They eat mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Oh,
and the
that's a good
mosquitoes
thing.
obviously loving the weather that we've got coming our way. So make sure that you take care of those mosquitoes. And then we have one more photo to show you here. We've got a grosbeak that's eaten and an oriole waiting its turn out. Hurry up, get out of there.
Yeah.
You can send in your photos to pete.sack@nbc.com.
We're
Thanks,
hungry here.
Pete.
Thank you. Helping people with disabilities feel empowered and feel supported.
Still ahead on NBC 5 News, the two foundations that are coming together to redefine what ability looks like. Now to making a difference and empowering people with disabilities. Two foundations are using their platforms to come together to make sure they're seen and supported.
Regina Waldrop shows us how they're creating a space where fashion meets activism.
She's a single mother living with cerebral palsy. She holds the title of Miss Wheelchair Indiana. He's a motivational speaker, avid cyclist, partially paralyzed after a car accident. They're working together to make sure people with different abilities are seen and supported.
My nonprofit is called Limitless, Free, and United. It started about 5 years ago with the hopes of just letting people know who didn't have disability more about the disability community.
The Stay Up Foundation is an acronym for Stay Uniquely Progressive. I came up with this organization to inspire, motivate, and encourage people in similar situations that they can be active, that they can live an independent life as well. Her having cerebral palsy, me having a paraplegic paralysis, we both empower and motivate and encourage the community in our own ways.
Jamal and Azalea want to highlight people with disabilities. So that's why they're producing an inclusive fashion show. The goal is to redefine what ability looks like.
My Way to Change is an event that combines active lifestyle and fashion. It embodies inclusiveness and community. Fashion is the one thing that unites everyone, right? You don't have to speak the same language. You don't have to look the same, but you understand what fashion is.
The models range in ages and abilities.
It's about being seen. It's about, showing that they can look good on the runway and that they have confidence in who they are.
We want it to be a sports fashion show because we think it, like I said, it's very important for people to know that we can do everything everyone else does. Right. We just switch it up a little, but we get it done.
We just want to continue to encourage and inspire others, in similar situations, and continue to be active. Even though we may have a physical disability or even cognitive, it's important that we get the awareness from other people in society because we want to be looked at as people as well.
Regina Waldrop, would you like to see this cover? NBC 5 News.
Oh, Regina, thanks for bringing us this story. So inspired by it. The Runway of Change is set for June 21st. It's at the Columbus Park Refectory in Chicago. For ticket information, all you have to do is head to our website, nbcchicago.com. Get out and support them.
It's a great idea. When you look good, you feel good. It's great to do that. Pete Sack has a final check of the forecast right after this.
Get ready for a warm and humid day tomorrow. Highs will be in the mid-80s. You see lots of rain on there, off and on chances for thunderstorms, and that's why we encourage you to have the NBC Chicago app downloaded on your phone so you can watch the radar just like we do.
All right.
Very
Great
helpful.
idea. Thank you, Pete.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you so much. That's it for us tonight. Thank you for staying up late, and thank you for making us your choice for news.
Unfortunately, the Cubs still lost, but we hope you have a good night. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Stay cool.